Alexander Pope once said that he who tells a lie is not sensible of how great a task he undertakes, for he must be forced to invent 20 more to maintain that one. Truer words were never said, but for once we can't confirm their authenticity. Here are the most commonly encountered fibs in today's society, including fake food and lying politicians. You'll see that sometimes sentences just don't seem true. 10. You have bad credit. Most car salesmen are not dishonest. However, some might use steps such as lies and tricks on their clients to make a profit. In these cases, it is best to stay away from dirty tricks that will hurt you financially in the end. There's a number of common lies that big-name companies and other cynical marketers use to trick consumers. However, this one is especially sneaky because it's simple, targeted, and popular in the US and UK. Of course, we want your money, and we might need to take a few extra precautions if you have bad credit. However, the offer of 0% interest we made on TV was for people with good credit, so you'll get 9%. We're still sorry about that. Most people don't know their credit score, and it's often hard to tell what suggestions they might make based on your credit. That's because those without bad credit themselves may still claim you have bad credit and charge a fee, but you personally know whether or not your score is good or not, so it's most important that you find out if things are okay. 9. A bigger splash. In fancy neighborhoods, the idea that open houses are necessary in order to sell a house is well known. In the States, it's common at all levels of society. Unless you have a constant stream of visitors stopping by, your house is unlikely to be sold. Even if people do come over, they'll leave without purchasing the house unless you give them cookies and free champagne. Many realtors and estate agents will tell their clients this event must be done, often multiple times, if they stand any chance in offloading their house. Really, a look at the stats shows that open houses aren't used by the majority of people in the US. Just 6%. This is in comparison to the time and effort required. But professional property flippers still insist on arranging them, despite what stats show. An open house is a great way to show prospective clients how skilled you are with big flashy events. They also generate interest in the agent, not the property they are hosting. It's very similar to free food at casinos. It sounds like an attractive offer when you start chatting with them. As the old saying goes, the house always wins. When your realtor tells you your house was sold, you might forget about that open house you had 2 weeks ago because it's quickly overshadowed by the good news. You're happy, and that's all that matters. 8. Selling houses. Again. So you've decided that a grabby realtor is unnecessary and have decided to attempt to sell your house by yourself. Good for you. Owners seem just as guilty of fibbing their way to a sale as the property industry is. The sellers looking to sell their house will sometimes stretch the truth or lie entirely. For example, they might say that the house is in perfect condition when construction is about to start. It's ghastly and gloomy. The locals are friendly, and it is safe, and surprisingly enough, has lots of original features that were recently built. If you're not careful, you might end up getting fooled by a realtor. Not because they're such terrible liars, but because people who are motivated to sell houses may just as well be just as bad at it as other businessmen and businesswomen. 7. Fat chance. Lies of omission are the most common type of lie told on a daily basis. This statement is a clear example. 95% of scientists agree leaves out the fact that science is not consensus-led, but rather rooted in scientific truth. Doctors may have poured into cigarettes in the past for fear of failing, but clever advertising is no longer their only tactic. The patients used to comply with the scientific imperative to be objective well before it was clear. Patients are not well informed by ads for cigarettes, painkillers, or even GMO. Low-fat diets have been pushed on the public for so long, all while people continue to think eating fat will make me fat. Could it be so that the addition of frankenwheat and corn to the farcefully carb-heavy food pyramid can simply be an oxymoron? No way. Nowadays, there are a lot of scientists who agree. 6. to be a world leader is to lie your ass off. Not a single president in the history of the U.S. has made it through their term without standing in front of the populace and lying. Trump, Clinton, both Bush presidents, all recent leaders of the free world. They all did some lying. Whether you're a Democrat like Obama and saying, if you like your healthcare plan, you'll keep your healthcare plan, or a Republican and saying you can keep your doctor, the promises about the Affordable Care Act have turned out to be false. The first atomic bomb was supposedly dropped by President Harry Truman. His story was not to be trusted, however, as he also boasted the invention of a new weapon to finally defeat Japan. He might have been president at the time, but he made up stories for a living. He was actually too busy in Hollywood to do the job. Or Nixon, who would later also be president. Political allegiance is not an obstacle to lying. 5. Sure, I can ride a horse. Lying on your CV or during an interview is so common that it often goes without consequence. At some point, something's gotta give, right? Professional CV writers provide you with invaluable advice for contesting your applications. They are likely familiar with what is required for certain positions and could prove to be an excellent investment. Actors are infamous for lying on their CV, which can include skills such as fluently speaking other languages, the ability to sing and dance, or combat experience. These skills might not be relevant to their roles in a profession, but they'll still have them listed in case it boosts their chances of being cast. It's easy to understand why people fib on their resumes, but it's disappointing that white-collar workers are just as likely to do so too. People are often tempted to lie on their job applications, but it's important to stay honest. Only tell the employer about your salary if you're genuinely comfortable doing so. Employees try to leverage their past work experience to negotiate a higher wage with their new employers. For example, they may say they were earning $22,000 wages before, but the potential employer knows you now make $2.50 an hour plus a bag of magic beans if you hit your performance bonus. Obviously, everyone at the office deserves to be paid well for their work. However, this doesn't seem to be the case when it comes to performance bonuses. The payment is often not related to any specific achievement. Maybe they're just trying to make you feel better about yourself. 4. Epicurean innovation, snake oil, or actual fake foods. We're really sold on the idea that low-fat or diet food is better for us. But it's not all that white a lie when you think about how much sugar and salt these options actually contain. Low-fat or no-fat food products are heavily marketed for their health benefits. And sure, they may have far fewer calories, pack less fat, and generally be lower in bad stuff like saturated fat. But they're often high in sugar, salt, or artificial ingredients. That's not how food usually works. Lying could happen when a company shill, sales representative, etc., talks about the benefits of one of these products. It becomes more of a lie by omission, though. It's very common to find lies being told in restaurants, supermarkets, etc. It's important to be skeptical about what you are being sold. For example, that wild-caught salmon might be from Norway rather than South America. Cheap, low-grade substitutes may seem like a good idea, but they're not. Sorry, mate. They are aware that the chance of some class action lawsuit based on a small price differential between the market value of whatever they sell and whatever they're selling fakes probably won't happen. Even if they're uncovered, be careful what you eat, in other words. 3. The most innocent of lies. The debate as to whether or not God exists is a contentious one. Some people believe that this notion is a fantasy, while others believe it to be true. But can we all agree that telling your kids that there is a giant rabbit that will leave egg-shaped chocolates in your garden is lying? What about telling them that a fat, white-bearded man is going to break into your house one night and leave presents? When written in this way, these harmless little lies seem more dangerous. Perhaps the most innocent lie is also the strangest, the tooth fairy fallacy. Why some parents pay their children for losing their teeth. There is probably no need for this article now that we're done with the fairy tales. Well, the lesson now that it might be okay to sell your organs now is unclear. 2. Men lie. When London's Science Museum surveyed a few thousand people to ascertain facts about their lying habits, they found that men will lie around 30% more than women. Men will tell around 3 lies a day, amounting to a whopping 1,092 whoppers a year. That being said, it is important for people not to succumb to such habits, and also, the poll also found that men lie to their mothers more than their partners. For example, they might say, "I'm on the way," when they're not. "I had no cell phone signal," or "I'm stuck in traffic." Such lies suggest many missed dinners with mommy. The phrase "I'm sorry I missed your call" suggests loss of. Men usually lie to partners about their drinking when they have been drinking too much. Unsafe. Isn't that ironic? You can't think of a single argument against the use of AI writers, but the science says it's best avoided. 1. Women lie too, just less. Men also tell lies, but women are more likely to do so. Women tend to embellish how they feel, maybe because of our less analytical approach. They share a few common lies with men. "I didn't drink that much. It wasn't that expensive. This is just what I've always wanted." Women lie less than men, but both sexes have been known to twist the truth at some point. The majority of people believe it is acceptable to lie in order for somebody else's feelings not to get hurt. One wonders whether the path of least resistance is a "no, don't be silly," or a "no, don't be silly. I wasn't the one who shot your parents." Sometimes lies spare. The best way to lie is convincingly. The more the lie seems believable, the better chance that it will be believed. Lies are told with malicious intent or out of ignorance, but most lies are just regular old lies. Thank you for watching. You can support us by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. See you soon.